Hi there, it's me, Harjap, here to welcome you back again to UBC Botanical Gardens, research for the future.
In my previous video, I talked about how big of a problem climate change is, and how hard it is to think clearly or hopefully about it. In this video and the ones that follow, I'm going to be interviewing researchers who are studying questions relevant to climate change, to see if they might be able to help us expand our ways of thinking about this very daunting problem. What does climate change mean to them, and how might it help me or you to see this problem a little differently?
Today I'll be talking with Christopher Coate, a graduate student in the Department of Botany here at UBC. Christopher's research focuses on the composition and functioning of the plant cuticle in certain plant species native to BC, such as salmonberry and saskatoonberry. Never heard of the cuticle? Then no problem, because Christopher will tell us what it is and why it's important.
So, Chris, could you please introduce yourself to the audience and let them know about your area of specialty and just a bit more about what you do on day to day?
Yeah, definitely. I'm my specialty, I guess, in the research I'm doing in my master's project is looking into the plant cuticle and specifically what the cuticle is made of. So I'm kind of teasing apart and looking into how the specific composition of the waxes that make up the cuticle relate to its ability to act as a water barrier for plants. I'm using a technique called gas chromatography to kind of uncover what specific compounds the cuticle is made of in the different species I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And then the second kind of technique is just measuring the rate of water loss in different tissues like leaves and fruit in the species that I'm looking at. So then we can kind of correlate and find relationships between the chemistry and the function of the cuticle.
Of course, understanding how the cuticle works sounds pretty important, but I wanted to know more specifically of how this research is relevant to climate change.
It's kind of a first step in understanding how different parts of the cuticle allow it to act as a water barrier, which can then inform future efforts that are future efforts such as like breeding programs or genetic engineering to improve plants and improve the cuticle so that we can help plants be better able to withstand drought or higher temperatures due to climate change.
Yeah.
So in other words, if we can gain a better understanding of the tools plants have to defend themselves against heat and drought, like the cuticle, then we can start to think about how we might be able to enhance those tools, which is both good and bad. Because as a result, there are certain things that we might be able to do to help plants survive climate change. However, it's definitely going to take some time to implement these biological modifications in plants. Christopher's research is still in progress, so at the moment, he doesn't have any answers to his research questions. But I'm still interested in hearing how this work has influenced his thinking about climate change.
The challenge that affects all of us, and not just humans, but plants and other animals. So I think it requires a multidisciplinary approach, and we have to draw from different perspectives and ways of knowing to tackle this issue just because it's larger than all of us.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important to point out that we need accountability from those for people in positions of power as well.
It seems like every project is contributing a piece to solving the puzzle of climate change, and gradually, we gain the knowledge we need to take action. But given how slowly these things progress, it seems like it would be a mistake to think that science will be our savior. Still, knowing that research is advancing in this cumulative, even collaborative way, brings a certain degree of hopefulness. As Christopher puts it,
so much of the research that we see that's related to climate change is only the newsworthy stuff.
Yeah.
When in reality, there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes.
In other words, the process of understanding climate change and what we can do about it is a slow process, but it is most definitely doable. And maybe there's something to be taken away from Christopher's comment about accountability from people in power. Because scientific knowledge will never be enough on its own. It needs to be supported and responded to in political ways.
Which means that political actions like voting, being vocal about our support for climate legislation, or participating in public demonstrations are all part of a larger collaboration in which everyone really does have something to contribute. It's not glamorous, but maybe this collaborative work really is where we can do the most to feel hopeful. Next week, we'll dive into another groundbreaking climate project right here at the UBC Botanical Garden. Until then, let's keep thinking critically and hopefully about what climate change means for us, our gardens, and our planet. See you next time.